Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Bass and Bonsai. Welcome to the show. Before I get started, I hardly ever do this. I usually forget, and sometimes I just don't want to do it. But please, if you haven't already subscribed to Bass and Bonsai, please do so. Like this video if you like it. If you don't like it, well, hit the like button anyway. But also recommend this video to anybody you know that is into firearms, or actually this channel, the other videos, the over 1,000 fishing videos, probably 200 to 300 bonsai videos, that kind of stuff. But it helps the channel out. I wanted to just kind of go through some final things still need to be done to our Dagger builds, and we've got a Springfield Echelon in there and a shadow systems. But we're going to go through these blasters real quick, and I'm going to show you what to look forward to, because we're hopefully going to get to the range this weekend and start doing some shootout videos that I plan on doing with all of these, just to kind of narrow them down to which ones are my favorite. So the first one that just hasn't taken place yet is going to be between the compact daggers, and so we'll look at them. And this one I've already put up in a video, but I've kind of finalized this one to a certain extent, and I have them all opened up so you guys can tell everything's clear. But I just got this light tonight, just came in, Surefire Knockoff XC1, and I just did an unboxing. I didn't go grab a battery, but takes a AAA battery. I'm not sure what the lumens is or all that. It's very lightweight though. Like what you would use a bigger light for actually also help with the shooting of the firearm. This isn't really going to do anything like that. It's just a light to help you out somewhat, but it's pretty neat. Just got a constant on or off, push button. And then either side you push, it's not up or down like the bigger Surefire X300, so you just toggle it, push down on either side. And it's pretty bright. For no bigger than what that little light is, I think probably about the same LED. It just doesn't have as much of a reflective deal as the bigger ones. But not too bad. 20 bucks off AliExpress. It does have the actual plastic is FDE color 2 and just a couple pieces of black, to where the other ones I've talked about in other videos, the FDE knockoffs are actually black plastic that I've painted, as you'll be see coming up. But anyway, we're going to have a shootout between this, the compact FDE one, ported barrel, versus comped barrel is what this original shootout was. So there's a knockoff there. So this one's in one little short video. That one, as you can see now, has pretty much been done for a while. I didn't really like the way the bigger lights hung off the front, and I like it now. I've Holosun. As you'll see, I have 4 of these Holosuns. Well, 3 are actually the Vulcan reticle. This is a regular one, 507C. Probably my favorite red dot, as you can tell. This one came, was I think the last one I picked up, like open box from Primary Arms, selling it through eBay. It was like 189 bucks or something. So a real good deal on the ACSS Vulcan reticle Holosun. So the Echelon, yeah, I just kind of painted one of the grips. That's the large, aggressive one that I cut down a little bit. Cut this out to where the mag release is a lot easier to hit. And liking this one so far. So those two are going together. The compacts are going to kind of tell between porting or comped. The Echelon is going to go up against 2 possibilities. This one, that isn't the barrel that's going to go in it, because it doesn't have any cutouts here. I just stuck that in there. It came in today too. But either between this with just a regular black barrel, no threads, no comp, no nothing, or probably put it up against basically 19X, right? So full size. Going up against the Echelon. So you actually have about the same size pistols with just a little bit, about, I guess they call it a 1/2 inch, 4.5 inch barrel, 4-inch barrel. Might put those two head to head, see which one I like better on those. I'm running out of room over here. But it's a good possibility with that black barrel. I may go ahead and throw this guy up against it also. It's a very good shooting blaster. And then we come to our other, which this was one of the three. I just kind of wanted to, I was kind of inspired to do a 19X, Glock 19X style build with the Dagger lowers. And so that's one of them. This was a venture that was really not 100% well thought out and very not well executed, but it does lock back. It does, if you slingshot it, it will cycle through. I did 3 rounds. I talked about that in another video. I took out the firing pin. I like made sure I was safe, but I used live ammo without a firing pin in it to just make sure that went through before I take this to the range, because I don't know if I do fire it, it's going to be with my left hand since I'm right-handed, just in case something were to blow up. I think the worst thing that would happen is it just won't feed like it, because it's got positive lockup. You know, basically once that's locked up, I mean, short of it just blowing the slide off of the frame rails, it shouldn't be any more of an issue of what I've done to make that Glock 26 slide fit on this. So anyway, be looking forward to that. I don't know. Maybe I'll talk Charles into firing this one. What do you think, Charles? Anyway, that one, and then this last one, I don't have all the pieces yet. I'm still waiting on recoil guide rod assembly. I thought I had enough until I started putting them all together. I'm like, oh, I'm short one recoil and guide rod assembly. But anyway, it pretty much does everything without it, except if you were to, you don't want to try to ever fire something like that, because that will blow your whatever completely off. You got to have that recoil guide rod in there. I just stuck it together for this video to show you guys that more or less, I'm undecided on this one. I'm kind of going between, do I want threaded barrels or not threaded barrels on this one, and actually the Glock 19. I've been swapping the barrel around. This is the same color. That's just a cheap $50 one, or $50 or $54 one off eBay, and this is the actual PSA Dagger. It's got the whole, oh boy, spiral fluted, threaded barrel. So anyway, I'm going to kind of shoot them all out and what they, roughly the equivalents, and kind of narrow it down to a few to pick out my favorite. I already know that this one, this is an awesome blaster, except for the fact I can't even, I put the Hogue on it, I cut it around, I stippled it, I tried to without it with all the different straps. It's just, I'll use the word glocky. It just still, if you love a Glock, I mean, you'll love these shadow systems if you haven't tried one, because you can put the different back strap on that does keep it feeling just like a Glock. So it's just a decked out Glock already. And if you haven't seen SHOT Show 2024, they got the new XR 920p, which that's the one that I would recommend to get. It comes with the compensator and the rail to match up. It would be the one, if I were to get one now, that's the one I would get. But so far, I'm still leaning towards these little dudes, the compacts, as kind of being my favorites. I really like the way that one, just everything, and it is almost, other than the red dot, is a true hollow sun. It's almost the cheapest you can get into putting a different slide and barrel than sticking with 100% PSA. Because that one, I have seen these as cheap as $135 for the slide. Then you got to get sights, internal, parts to make it work, barrel. recoil guide rod assembly, as I found out in the last one. I forgot to get that. But you're talking, I think I gave 160 for this slide because I had missed the sale. And then 50, almost 50 for the barrel, 30 for the internals, 30 for that. It was a this was a $59 lower that came with the bag, which was a good deal. $40 trigger, $24 here, and then $20 light. So it still adds up to a chunk, but considering you've got a decked out, and I did the stipple job myself, without the red dot, but considering you have a decked out pistol, I mean, I don't know. I feel it's well worth the money. I probably have, let me look. I probably have the same amount. But this one probably have the same amount in this one, including the red dot and the, oh no, wait, no I don't, because I added that has the Shadow Systems, if I would have stuck with the stock PSA barrel. But this one, this one I probably have almost the most money in, because although it's PSA upper and lower, and internals and everything, this slide was like $200 with the sights and internals, and then $59 for this with the bag. Then I added the mag release. That is a Ranger proof trigger. It's got the performance trigger inside. We've got the Shadow Systems barrel. We've got the Strike Industries. Probably next cheapest thing's like $65. This was like 85 or 90, and then another 20 here. But this one's probably definitely more than this one. But if you add the like $250 red dot, it brings them right back into range. I think these, like this, even just adding the $20 light, it's no big deal. These like $620, $625, something like that. I bought and I have the stock one. These are like $50, $54 for buy a different grip module. This build was $49, which it ends up being about all of these. If they say $49 or $59 by the time you pay shipping and then your FFL fees for the lowers, you're still talking $65 to $75 basically. Then $24 deal there. That is just it's kind of a trigger I didn't use off the performance one, so I don't even call it have any money in it. But I did give like $220 for the slide bear. That's just one part of the sight. It came with the Mariglow night sights, but they're lower. Like, there's not a huge chance of me co-witnessing, but if I barely maybe use the tip of that front sight on that, I might still be able to use that if this were to go out, kind of deal. This is why I just stuck that one on there. But you're talking $220, $50 for the barrel, $30 some for the kit. Plus, I had to buy a separate. You have to buy the Gen 3 recoil guide rod, and then for the Gen 4 or 5 adapter, and $20 for the knockoff light. So that adds up a little bit. But you're probably still, even with the red dot in that mount, because that was just a used $40 red dot with the $15 mount, I'm probably under, with these at $30 a piece, you'd probably still be under what a brand new, what you could pick up, well, maybe not totally brand new, but a used 19X for. Then you still would need to do something if you wanted to change it up. But I don't know if that's my favorite or not. I think if that, I have not shot this yet with that on there. I got to go shoot it and see if I like. I may just totally hate that, and then this will be a wash. Other than if I want to send that slide off and get it cut for a red dot. So far, I could take basically that upper and put it on one of these other, full-size lowers if I wanted to. But I think I like this little dude right here. And then would be this dude. Maybe this dude first. Then maybe still the shadow systems. I got to get the right barrel for it. I don't really like it with, I have a compensator for it. I just don't like it with the comp. It's not horrible, but it's, I don't know. Undecided on it. I'm just going to have to see how all of them, kind of comparing them as I shoot them, which ones I like as far as the best one. I thought I would like this one. I'll just have to get it out and shoot it in the configuration it's in. I do like that Lone Wolf trigger, but I think I like the Glock Performance trigger. Still up in there about the Ranger Proof since it seems to be the only one. The trigger shoe, I can only get it to work with the Glock Performance trigger assembly right compared as to these other. I didn't try it like with the shadow systems. I left it. It's all stock shadow systems. But I'm thinking I'm liking this trigger setup because it's simply just getting that $40 trigger shoe and put it in the stock Dagger, everything else, so it ends up being your cheapest way to go, really. The other ways, well, the Red Dirt is about the same. It's a $50 one. Can't really show you because it doesn't have the spring. It doesn't feel the same way when you're holding it instead of letting the spring do the tension. Talked about this one. I like everything about it, except for that lagging reset. The Timney Alpha. But just the leftover shoe I took off the Glock Performance trigger. Other than that, so much take up, like, I guess I could always change that, but there's this huge amount of get to the wall. It doesn't feel bad. But as far as a stock trigger, the way they come, you can't beat the shadow systems. They come good to go. They don't really need anything. I don't really feel that any of these other triggers do anything better really than what this one does. Now I put a lightened striker spring in there. I'm going to have to try it, make sure it's still reliable. If it's not, I'll go back and it'll just feel a little bit back to what it was. It's pretty light now. It's like a 3.5 pound trigger. Well, you know what? Let's do that. We got them all sort of out. I guess I could rob the spring out of another one and try that one. So let's just, and then we'll wrap this up. Let's just check them all one last time right here. That is your Echelon. I'll give you a show of the take up. See, that took a little bit. Reset. I mean, it feels pretty good. Let's just do a trigger pull on it. I try to keep these like not too low, but not, about where you would think, close to the middle of where your finger would be on all these. And just give them a pull. I'll try to leave where I can show you guys. That sucker broke 5.5. Let me try that one more time. Let me try that one more time. Maybe I was pulling a little too slow. Yeah, just a hair over 5. So it feels real good. It actually feels less than that, but it isn't a super light trigger. Let's go with the one I like the least, but it's probably going to break. If you guys can see that, how much you can watch the the trigger safety start to come back, then it resets. It's kind of funny. So let's see how light it is, though. I like everything about it except for that. I know I shouldn't even talk about it anymore. I should just get rid of it, really. But I'm leaving on this one for now. So yeah, it's usually right around 3.5. That I'm a little bit over. I'm not going to do it again because it's very light. Does not take a lot. Let's jump right to another one that should be very good. So we got this guy. You see that there's a little bit of movement before you get to where so you can't play with that too much anymore. So you're like right there. Kind of a little bit of the reset. I mean, I could probably play with that if I wanted to. See how it comes out a little bit, but it's right there, like, and it's up on the shelf and everything. It's not gonna go up, but it's like right there. Bam. Reset but it's very like it shoots out quick. Like there's no hesitation in it. It is a further to get out to the reset than the take up is actually on that one. A little over 4.5. Let's try that again. So yeah, it's in between 4.5, which I left it that way. This is the stock spring because when I didn't change the spring in this, but if I ran it with any of these, one of these, I kind of remember which one now. I think it's this guy. This one or this one, I did put a lighter striker in, and it was like crazy, almost scary how there's hardly no take up, and then it just was snapping. Like if you get it what I consider anything under 4, it becomes even too touchy for me as like a going to the range kind of deal. So very good trigger. You could make it go crazy, but I guess I feel my skill level isn't there to have it any different what it is right now. And I may actually go in there because I've set it to where it doesn't have. I may add, basically give it a little more to the take up because it's very, like, I wouldn't call it scary, but yeah, it's right there. So this is the one, I think I put a lightened, I want to say I put no, it was that one. I tried a 4. A 4 makes it like you can feel the trigger almost kind of like the Timney Alpha I talk about. The reset is lags. You can feel that when you go too light. I feel on your striker spring anyway. So this one is a 4.5 or a 5, or that one is. This one I think is the same thing. I think I went lighter. I think I did go lighter on this one. So I think I may have went too light. Let's check this one. It feels very good. It almost feels, I wouldn't call it too light because it just feels good. All right, let's try about right close to the middle. So yeah, it's like somewhere right around 4.5. it feels very good. Let's do, the other ones aren't really anything to write home about, so let's go with, now this, I don't remember which, I did lighten it, but I don't think I put a 4. It's either 4.5 or a 5. Can't remember now. So you see there, like you can't go back any further. Comes back a little bit. It's kind of that, it's kind of like a true, what I feel anyway, like a Glock, like it's got a, it kind of loads up, then it breaks. Like, so I've heard several people talking about this. You've got like a, it's almost like a false wall. Like you have this, which actually has some, a little bit of pressure, but then you have this, but there's another little movement there. But when you're doing it, if you're moving it very fast, sometimes you'll go right by that. But there's almost like a, I call it, has a very crisp, clean break, but you got to get past that little bit of a, so when you're like, anyway, let's do the reset. It feels very good to me. Let's try that one. Yeah, this one, that's got a very low setting trigger safety. So yeah, right about 4, just under 4. So it's like, with that, I may just go back to, if it shoots, reliably, doesn't, no light primer strikes, I'll just leave it. But if I've yet to have any malfunctions with this thing. So if it does have one, I'm going back to the stock weight because I don't need it to be down to under 4 pounds. It felt fine stock, but that feels, it's very good now. So let's just check it. Oh, that's not gonna, did I go with the lighter spring in this one? I can't remember. I showed you this one already, so let's just check the weight. It kind of is that typical Glock, a lot of take up, quite a bit of movement on the reset, but it's pretty consistent. Yep, right at 4.5. I may have a 5 pound, I may have lightened that up too. Yeah, this one just feels very good too. They all feel good now. Like some of these, if you get when you get some of these stock, like most of these have been polished. I've changed a few. A couple of them do have the actual trigger spring, what they call the trigger spring, which is the spring down inside of the trigger housing that kind of helps. Have that changed out. Most the troubled ones, like I think this one has the plunger spring is lightened, the trigger spring is heavier, which aids going the other way, and then I think maybe the striker, oh boy, I'm gonna have to go back and look. I don't remember exactly what all I've done to all these different ones now. I would suggest pick you up one Dagger lower, build it out, and then get another one or something, because 5 at once I wouldn't say it's been a nightmare, but it can feel a little overwhelming at times. So if you have any questions, let's just see what this would do without any, there's literally no spring in there, so I'm going to hold it up. I'm curious myself just to what that thing will break at with it. I mean, this part of it down here should not understand or realize that there's no spring up there. If I can get it to go. I guess it does. I don't think I'm holding it locked in right. I'm not. Hang on. Don't try this at home. I know I'm home trying it, but don't try it. Don't do as I do, do as I say. Okay, that don't work. That doesn't work. You guys want to know what it does? I do too. Hang on. Hang on. I'm curious where we're at now with this dude. So I just need to pull apart one of these other ones that's the older gen. Rob the spring real quick. Takes just a second. I can't show you how to put that spring on. It's very, what you call it? Only thing it's missing. Okay, now we got it. That's the Lone Wolf. Now it looks like you could take up more of that take up because with this trigger, if you guys have seen, let's just do it before I even do that one. So one thing I will say about Ranger Proof, okay, this one, I didn't even really try too hard to get it to where, like it, see that movement? That's all you got. It's like right there. Bam. It took a very simple fix. I have to give credit to Johnny Glock. So I watched one of his videos and saw how to do it. But this one has an adjustment going in and this way to adjust this out. The problem is with this shoe mounted, where the ledge is, that's as far as I could go. Okay. Wait a minute. Because if you take it like further back to where right before this would go, and then that's all the take up out, well then it's not really on the ledge. It's definitely, it's unsafe. Like the safest you can get it, moving this trigger back with that adjustment screw is right there. And then you have that much play, which isn't a ton, but compared to that Ranger Proof, it's a lot. And then see that kind of creep like what the Shadow Systems has. But then you are like all the way back. It broke there. Reset. Still feels very good. But like if you were trying to get to where you didn't like that, which this feels actually better to me. The only one that does it like that crazy is this one right here. Everything else I have has probably close to that, right? I think I got it apart now, but I think that guy maybe is a little shorter. So this is like number 2 or 3. So let's check so I guess it's not bad for 50 bucks. You know, then the weight of the pull will be, you could adjust out with other stuff. It costs a little more money, but to get it to where the take up and the reset is like that. Something ain't right. No way. 6 pounds? It's better than that. Something ain't right with this. Hang on. Maybe finagled with it too much. Let's try it again. Yep, 5.5. It's the heaviest one I have so far, but I thought maybe I didn't mess with this one. Maybe this one, maybe I didn't put a lighter. Maybe this is just the Lone Wolf, and then everything else is stock PSA. I have to double check. So it's definitely the heaviest of the bunch of my Glock clones. So yeah, it's up there. It's about a pound heavier and all that. But I mean, it's still. Wait a minute, that slide's still moving. Something ain't right. I think something I may have a little off because I just kind of threw that barrel in there, and I think it should be a little lighter than that. I got to work on this one still. It's the last one to like complete all the parts kind of thing. Let me do this one more time. Springfield Echelon. It sounds so... That sounds muted compared to the Glock style ones. Move that up a little bit. This one was up there a little bit too, wasn't it? Just over 5, just over 5. So yeah, it's right up there with this guy that I don't know why he's up there. He should be lighter than that. All right, guys, any questions? Leave them in the comments below. Once again, as I get out of here, if you haven't subscribed to Bass and Bonsai, please do so. We'll still be fishing. I don't know when we're going to get back to bonsai trees. I will at some point, maybe when I retire in like 13 years. And get out on the range, get out on the water fishing and stuff like that. But the next, I guess, action you're going to see is when I get the two out on the range. This guy, ported barrel versus comped. This guy, and possibly I'll slap this guy back together with the, because this is one I've already shot. And it's the, I guess it's the closest to what you're seeing most of the, everything that's coming out now either has this one kind of bigger single port, or some of them even have the dual port comps. This one is more of a, I don't even know what you would call that. It's got the two big coming off the side more so than the top, but it should help a little bit with down, but mainly just relieving all the pressure some. I don't know. We'll try it. That's what I do need. I'll put the threaded barrel probably from this guy back in that one. Try it with when I do all those. And I may go ahead while I'm there and just try this ported barrel along with this one, not in this gun, on that slide, and see if I can literally feel a difference between these 4 on each side, you know, so 8 little round cutouts compared to the 6 more kind of rectangular cutout things more so than just circles. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Get out, go bass and bonsai. See you later.